All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's time to talk about the hot topic of the week. And I'm not too surprised by this. But yes, ladies and gentlemen, we're talking about good old Assassin's Creed Shadows. Yes, Shadows, because that's, I guess a play on words. We're talking about Assassin's Creed Shadows, ladies and gentlemen. Good old Ubisoft's next adventure in the long-standing Assassin's Creed franchise. You know, that franchise that was based off, historical accuracies, even though it was obviously fictional and it was meant to be kind of like an exacerbated version of history, although they did showcase actual real ethnicities based on where they were showing the location, right? Well, apparently they gave that up, right? There's no reason to have actual real ethnicities based on the location anymore, because they found their loophole into diversity, equity, and inclusion. What am I talking about, ladies and gentlemen? Well, they're going to be making Assassin's Creed Shadows being based off of Yasuke. Now, I don't know if I'm saying his name correctly, but you guys know who I'm talking about. The retainer for Nobunaga, the historical figure that every Wookiee in their mother wants to claim was a samurai and wasn't. He went by a completely different title. We can go into the history if you want, but that is going to be way too long for this video. We're going to have plenty of people try to come out and pretend as if Yasuke was an actual samurai by title. And we all know that is not true whatsoever. There is no historical name or anything associated with Yasuke being a real actual samurai. Now, with that being said, and out of the way, we was samurai and shit, because now apparently they're going to be making this entire game based off Yasuke and a female Japanese ninja character who is, I think, currently unnamed. I couldn't really find the name for her. I kept looking for it, but couldn't find it. So let's get into this video, guys, and this article from Bounding Into Comics. But of course, before we do, if you are new here, just consider hitting that subscribe button. I would greatly appreciate it, and like the video to push us out into that YouTube algorithm. It says Assassin's Creed Shadows trailer confirms that feudal Japan set title to feature black protagonist. It says in making a distinctive break from previous franchise entries, alleged leaks have revealed that rather than any heroes who hail from the nation in which it takes place, Ubisoft's upcoming feudal Japan set Assassin's Creed Shadows will instead center its narrative on a foreign-born black protagonist. Now, in the other Assassin's Creed games, okay, obviously, they're falsified characters. Obviously, they are exacerbated characters, but their ethnicities and where they are based in made sense for the video game. This is the only one it doesn't. What Ubisoft did, it's very clear as day. Ubisoft desperately looked for one example, just one example of a black samurai. That way they can utilize their diversity, equity, inclusion to the maximum. And they found out about Yasuke, just like every other Wookiee when they try to Google black samurais, right? That's how they find out about Yasuke, because a lot of people get it wrong. And then they decided, oh, look, there was this one figure that was the retainer for Nobunaga, and a lot of people claim he was a samurai by name. Obviously, he was not, but we can do it. It doesn't matter, because we're Assassin's Creed. We're going to do historical fiction anyway, so even if we do make it up, we can hide behind that banner and nobody can say anything, because the other games were historical fiction, right? So they decided to do this entire thing, and it's quite hilarious, but let's get into this further. The detail regarding the next entry in the long-running action-adventure series was first divulged to the public courtesy of a now deleted due to copyright strike from Ubisoft video uploaded by noted Assassin's Creed leaker and video game YouTuber Jonathan. Therein, according to a recap of said video provided by Sigus Lorman, with the help of machine translation, Jonathan revealed the identities of Shadows' two leads as the male samurai Yasuke and the female ninja Nao. Okay, so they do have a name for her. Good. I didn't find it before. Now apparently we have a name for her. Based on the historical figure of the same name, Yasuko's story will reportedly see him go from the only remaining survivor of a slave ship following a pirate raid to eventually being taught the ways of the samurai while serving under warlord Oda Nobunaga. Now, obviously, he was never from a slave ship. That's number one, okay? I mean, it's impossible to have a black character and not have slavery associated with it. They're so desperate to tie slavery to anything black-oriented that they're going to completely make it up. But again, this is a historical fiction game, so you can't technically get mad at it, right? It says, meanwhile, Naoya is described as a fledgling operative of the Shinobi, the local Imperiate name for the assassins, who was brought into their ranks after their family was killed by a group known as the Order, the local Imperiate name for the enemy Templars. In addition to Yasuke and Naoya's identities, Jonathan also alleged that the game would, unsurprisingly, given that it's being developed by Ubisoft, feature an abundance of DLC, including a $40 season pass, 2 expansion packs for $25 each, and various microtransaction currency packs ranging in price from $5 to $50. Now, guys, out of all the wokeness aside, we can talk about wokeness until we're blue in the face. Can we talk about this shit? I mean, it is utter nonsense what they are trying to charge for this game. It is ridiculous. They have, and what they're doing now is they're making the game unbelievably stupid expensive because they know the majority of people are going to pay the $129.99 Ultimate Edition versus subscribing to Ubisoft Plus, right? They want you to subscribe to Ubisoft Plus, and they say they'll give you everything in the Ultimate Edition only for $17.99 a month. You know what I mean? And that's where this meme came from. For $17.99 a month, you too can make history your own. That's why I made this meme, because that's what this is, man. This is one of the greediest companies in existence, and they're trying to do the same exact thing Microsoft did, and Microsoft is losing tons of money because of Game Pass, and Ubisoft is like, hold my beer. We're going to do exactly what you're doing in the hopes that we too can lose money. It's the most stupid decisions ever. It says, in almost record time, just hours after this video was taken down by Ubisoft, Jonathan's scoop regarding Yasuke and Naoya would be confirmed by a leak of Shadow's main key art. Now, again, this is going to go into a little bit of the history of Yasuke. We can cover it a little bit, but there's just way too fucking much to cover in one video, but I'll read a little bit for you guys so you can get an idea. Notably, and as readers familiar with his character may already be aware of, despite being directly inspired by the historical Yasuke, his Shadow's interpretation deviates in 2 very significant ways from his real-world counterpart. First, Yasuke did not make landfall in Japan as a result of a raid on a slave ship. In fact, there exists no historical record that he was ever a victim of the African slave trade. Rather, he was brought there by a Jesuit missionary by the name of Alessandro Valagano, whose service has been found himself under prior to his trip to the East Asian nation. Second, that despite the pop culture's obsession with pushing the idea, there exists no concrete evidence that Yasuke was ever considered an actual samurai, nor that he was chosen to serve under Nobunaga due to his supposed skills. In reality, what is known is that Yasuke caught the attention of Nobunaga thanks to his skin color, which the Japanese warlord found mesmerizing due to his having never seen anyone so dark in his entire life. Finding himself amused with both the discrepancy in their skin tones and the man's overall character, Nobunaga eventually requested that Valagano allow Yasuke to come under his service, to which the missionary obliged. Given his Japanese name of Yasuke by his new master, the African man was then put under Nobunaga's employ as a retainer, a noble and respected position with many privileges similar to a samurai, but far, far different in actual regard and duty. Imagine the difference between a doctor of literature and a doctor of medicine, but with more swords, before later being appointed as one of the warlord's koshu, essentially the Japanese version of a page boy. So again, ladies and gentlemen, to make it very clear, I don't give a shit, ultimately, because Assassin's Creed does, in fact, lie about history all the time. We already know this to be true. The difference here is that in terms of ethnicity, a lot of people have been waiting for a Assassin's Creed game based in feudal Japan. They've been waiting for this, especially Japanese players have been waiting for this. Every other Assassin's Creed game has a main character that has an ethnicity that makes sense to the time period that he is currently in at the point of the game. You know what I mean? This is the only character that doesn't make any sense, and they're trying to do it through a loophole by using Yasuke, because they know that Yasuke has been utilized by the West many times over to portray a black samurai that never existed. So, and by never existed, I don't mean like not in real life. Obviously, Yasuke was a real person, but to give him the title of samurai when it's never been proven that he ever was given the title of samurai, no matter how much certain people who watch the Western movies and watch all that shit, you even got some UK establishments who watch all the woke movies and then they're like, oh yeah, he was always a samurai. Here's how. And then it's always bullshit, man. when it comes to real history, there is no concrete evidence he was ever really given a status of samurai. Obviously, he was a retainer for Nobunaga. But again, coming down to Assassin's Creed, Japanese players are highly upset over this. I retweeted it. If you guys don't believe me, you can go check it out. A lot of Japanese players are basically asking if they're mocking them, right? Like if Ubisoft is mocking them because of choosing Yasuke in this particular manner. And they're trying to pretend as if this is just like the biggest thing for diversity. It is so fucking stupid at the end of the day. But hey, listen, Assassin's Creed is the least of our worries when it comes to Ubisoft and their overall bullshit tactics of monetization and overall greed. And I feel like that's where the topic of discussion really needs to focus on, because I guarantee you a lot of people are not going to support this game, not because of the wokeness or anything, but simply because of what they're trying to do in terms of monetization. It is disgusting, it is greedy, and it needs to end. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you did enjoy it. If you did, consider leaving me a subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. Don't forget to like the video, comment, let me know what you thought, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Hypnotic out.